Welcome back, people. My name is Yesenia Fernandez, and I'm here with my podcast known as The Toxic Biological Parents. So, I know on the last episode we talked about all the abuse I endured from both sides of my biological parents. The next episode is known Scared to Fall in Love. And that is in reference to me because right now, even though I'm trying to work on it, I'm worried that I'll never fall in love because I didn't have good examples growing up. I didn't even know what a real relationship looked like. How was I supposed to find one? Now, we're going to dive into some of the stories that from the people both my biological parents were with and how that awfully ended. We're going to start it off with my biological father. His love life was no picnic and roses. For starters, he was with my biological mother, and he always said that he didn't even want anything serious with her. He just used her as a bet. Unfortunately, that had consequences. As I mentioned before, he said that if she wanted to end her pregnancy, he would have been fine with that. Their relationship didn't even last long. I was only 1 year old when they split up. I didn't even remember them ever being together. I've only seen it in family photos. And then he dated another woman who used to drink with him and had no problem with his alcoholic ways. It was no fun watching your dad and his girlfriend drink like that, but he never cared about how I felt or thought. He just thought about himself. Next, he gets a woman that's the complete opposite. My stepmother / his ex-wife now. From what I understand, their relationship was really good at the beginning, but up until they got married, I believe as well, he hid the fact that she was an alcoholic, and she tried to help him out. Not just my stepmom, I tried to help him, my sister tried to help him. It got to the point where it was so sickening. It felt more like she was his mother. We all had to take care of him when he had incidents, when he got fired from his job previously, when he lost his phone more than once. It was a very awful situation. She had to basically tell him to be there for his child, as when you tell your own son to clean the house. If it had been up to him, he wouldn't have showed up to any of my school stuff. But because she told him to, and he wanted to seem like he was a good father in her eyes, heck, I wouldn't have even been a part of his family if she had said yes, because if I moved with him, it's because my stepmom / his ex-wife said yes. He literally went to her and said, I need you to take care of Yesenia, my daughter, full time. If you don't want to, that's fine. I'll just let her go off to her group home, is what he said to her. She looks at him like, are you crazy? She's your child. Of course we can take her. Yes, you heard it there first. He was perfectly fine with leaving me in a group home. His own child. He didn't give a damn about me. As I saw their relationship continue as I grew up, I noticed how it started to affect my sister as well, because on a family vacation we went on to Jamaica, she explained to me how it bothered her, how he would drink. She expressed it to her mother. And then while we were alone, while they were getting food from the buffet in Jamaica, I tried to bring it to his attention, letting him know that, don't you think you should cool it down with the drinking? And his response to me trying to help him was, I'm on vacation, Yesenia, leave me alone. I can drink as much as I want. No rules. Eventually, my stepmom came to the fact that he was never going to change, no matter how many times she tried to help him, tried to do a family intervention, tried to yell at him. Nothing was working. The only person who had to realize he had a problem was himself. He was unfortunately not doing that because he grew up thinking that was perfectly normal. After watching my grandparents go through that, that's not what a relationship is supposed to be. Anyway, watching that for me taught me that it's unfortunate having to baby your own husband. I didn't ever want that for myself. When they were about to start the divorce process, they spoke about it and they agreed, but he deep down felt that when we got to Florida, he would find a way to earn her forgiveness and continue on like nothing had happened. I'm not joking. He literally left all his stuff at our house thinking that they were going to eventually reconcile. Once she showed him that was not the case, then he brought out his true self. As I mentioned in the previous episode, he took away our car, our cell phone service. He tried to take away our actual phones. He said some stuff to the landlord lady, and we ended up having to find a new place since he was stalking and following us everywhere. Most of the time, he didn't even want to know how I was doing, even though I was his child and he expected my loyalty. All he cared about was fixing his relationship with my stepmom, but that didn't work out, and their marriage ended badly. After seeing that, that's one of the reasons why I'm scared to fall in love, because I don't want to end up with a guy who's a lot like my father. As soon as I see a little bit of my father's traits in a man, I stay away. even though I should give them a chance. But honestly, I want someone different from my father. And that's what I hope to get. May God enlighten me with someone who's the opposite of him. Now, enough about my biological father. We're going to get into my biological mother. She was no role model either when it comes to men, because she was always bringing guys in and out who I thought were going to be in our lives forever. They never stuck. Well, except for the last guy, but that last guy turned out to be a total Lord Farquaad-sized douchebag. As I mentioned before, my biological parents were only together for a year because deep down they didn't like each other, and he just used her for a bet of who was going to get her into bed. She first dated a drug dealer who turned out to be married and who was always in our home because he had motorcycle accidents. They would just do it here and there with me in the other room and take this to either a motel or a hotel. Be classy, people. They weren't, especially since the guy was a scumbag. Even though he was actually a little bit nice to me, he bought me a nice purse, but still. Married guys, not a good idea for those listening. The next guy I remember was actually a police officer. He was pretty decent. He was a family man. He was always there with his kids. I liked him. I wouldn't mind him being in our lives. But she ended up breaking up with him because he was, and I quote, boring, which means decent. She didn't want a decent guy. She wanted a crazy one. Like her father / my grandfather was not a great guy either. He was always drinking. I remember one time she told me he disappeared to Peru for 2 months. And then the next guy turned out to be a handyman. He was kind of dumb. She didn't like him either, and they ended it. Before her boyfriend, I remember she dated some other guy who seemed to be decent, but then he ended up cheating on her. Who wouldn't cheat on her if she surrounds herself by trash? Am I not wrong? Now I'm going to get into her boyfriend / husband, who's unfortunately only by title my stepfather. This guy was a big jackass. That's surprising since he's a short guy. So when they first started dating, I recall my mother not being around a lot because in her head, she doesn't have a kid and her relationship is a priority. As I said before, I remember hardly seeing her because she was always with him, and whenever I did see her, she was just grabbing her stuff so she could be with her, and I quote, man. Then the first time they got serious, I had to pretend to like him because you're a kid and you want to see your parents happy. And I thought, why not give him a shot? Boy, was I wrong. He used to get high with my mom in the room all the time, and he says, Yesenia, do this, do that. My mom lets this guy walk all over me. And I'm not kidding. She once even said, he's allowed to hit you. I give him permission. What kind of mom says something like that? He was acting like a douchebag with me because he never really liked me. What really used to piss me off about him is that he was a whiny little girl. I have a girl cousin who's about 8 or 9 years old, and she doesn't even complain as much as this guy does. I remember my biological mother always choosing him over me. I recall this one time, I made a stupid comment about the Law & Order SVU show. In one episode, I remember a lady hitting her sister with a bar of soap. I'm not going to lie, I did make a comment saying, how would bars of soap hurt? Because I was curious. He says to me, why don't I show you so you can understand? He was not joking. He was being absolutely serious. He even said, how about I wash your mouth out with soap to see how you like it? Dude, I was just making a comment. It's not like I was saying it to you. The weird part is my mother made me apologize to him for making a stupid comment. Who does that? I got my revenge. I ripped up one of his shirts at the laundromat when I was by myself, and he never knew. Whenever I spoke firmly with him and defended myself, my mom always had a bad reaction, made me apologize to him, even though sometimes it made no sense. I recall one time, he got me and my mom together, and she told me that once we were out of the basement, he was going to begin hitting me, especially washing my mouth out with soap after I said a dumb comment about a TV show. Really? And this guy was no prince with her either. A couple times he actually hit her. When my cousin was staying with us for a while, we heard him beating her, and we were in the living room sleeping after watching a movie. She comes out the next morning while we're eating breakfast, and she's like, it's your guy's fault. He left. He's gonna abandon me. How is that our fault? We just woke up. She said apparently it's my fault because I'm a difficult child. So that has nothing to do with you, even whether or not I'm difficult and you're supposed to be on my side. I didn't complain about him the way he always does with me, like a little bitch. Anyways, after he would hit her, she always ended up begging for his forgiveness, even though he's the one who put his hands on her. Oh my God. I remember this one time. It was actually got really bad. So they were having an argument when we were living with my aunt and her family. We heard yelling, we heard things being thrown. Apparently he threw a key in her face and he hurt her really bad. There was blood everywhere. And granted, I had my cousin who was around my age and a baby cousin. That actually scared him and he was crying a little bit. The cops ended up showing up in the ambulance while she was hiding in the bathroom from him. There was blood all over her mouth. What ended up happening was we had to accompany her to the emergency room while she was getting stitches in her mouth. He was in jail for a couple of days. She calls me into the room and tells me she's going to take him back, and I don't agree with it. And she expects me to feel bad by telling me sob stories of how he lost his dad really young, how his stepdad wasn't great with him. Yeah, he wasn't great with me. What's the difference? One time he got hit because he was gambling at school. I don't agree with the hitting. I agree with him being punished for gambling. And then she tells me another story by telling me about the time that his parent got him a MacBook for Christmas. He opened it when he knew he wasn't supposed to. And they ended up not giving him the MacBook for Christmas since he opened it without asking, which was crazy. You tell me this boohoo story, yet he doesn't get hit. He gets rightfully punished when they told him specifically not to. I knew what I said was not going to change her mind, so I literally didn't have any words to say to him. She spoke to my cousin about it, and she ended up inviting the douchebag back into our home after he hit her and broke her mouth. My aunt gave her full opinion that she was not okay with it. I agree with her in this case, but I just don't agree with the fact how she kicked us out on Thanksgiving Day and we ended up having to eat at 1 a.m. in the morning. And then I recall he got into a fight with my biological mother. He ended up punching the wall in the basement when we were living with my grandparents and they had to pay to get that covered. She always forgave him because she was scared of dying alone. I think deep down she was like him. But what was crazy, whenever he wanted to leave, she would always blame me and for getting hit as well. From her dating experience, what I learned is it's better to be alone than in bad company. I would never tolerate a man ever putting his hands on me. That's a big red flag for those listening. If you have a relationship like this or even worse, get out of that relationship because trust me, it's not going to get better with abusers. And if you think you can't do better, you can. You just got to focus on yourself, pray on it, and be alert more than anything. But as I mentioned before, this is one of the reasons why I'm scared to fall in love, because I never learned what a real relationship was like because this guy was emotionally, verbally, and physically abusive towards her, and verbally and emotionally abusive towards me, threatening me that as soon as we're out of the basement with my grandparents, he was going to start hitting me. It's also another reason why I'm very distrusting towards men, but I'm learning to grow out of that shadow, and I'm learning that not all men are like the men I have experienced on both sides of my family. I'm not going to rush into anything, and I hope those who are listening to this episode, you are worth it. Don't settle with a relationship that makes you feel unhappy. Don't stay with a toxic narcissist, an abuser in any way, whether it being physically, financially, emotionally, psychologically. The relationship should be equal and loving. All right, that's the end of this episode. So the next episode, we're going to dive into something I like to call It's Okay to Lie and Steal. It's mostly about how they taught me bad habits and how that had affected me growing up, but we'll get into that in the next episode. I'm your host, Yesenia Fernandez, and thank you for hearing me out on another podcast episode known as The Toxic Biological Parents. Sending you off. Have a wonderful day.